Hyperemesis gravidarum is a life-altering condition. In addition to the debilitating physical symptoms, it can also evoke several heavy and unwanted emotions and feelings. These feelings can be overwhelming and scary. No one understands the darkness caused by HG better than pregnancy sickness support. We are raising funds to be able to enhance our mental health support services with our Kind2Mind campaign. Together we can help HG sufferers start their lives again after the devastation caused by HG. In this new HG and mental health series, Fundraiser Faye talks to HG sufferers and members of our counselling team to uncover the devastating impact that HG can have on a sufferer's mental health. Today I am joined by pregnancy sickness support volunteer Katie. Hi Katie, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks so much for joining me. Let's jump straight in, shall we? How many times have you had HG, Katie?
I've now had it twice. So I had it during one of the lockdowns in 2021, about March till May time. And then I've actually just finished my second, well, it'll go throughout the pregnancy, but I'm up and about. I've just did my second one about 2 weeks ago. So I've been in and out of hospital since February this year. So yeah, about 9-10 weeks. So yeah.
Oh, thank you for knowing what you're going through. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Can you sort of talk about your physical symptoms of your HG? What did the condition look like for you?
Yeah, so my first HG was very much sickness. It was debilitating. I was off work, in bed, in and out of hospital, but I was sick easily 10 plus times a day. Nothing was staying down. This time I've been sick 6, 7, 8 times a day, but it's more the nausea that's got to me this time around. Mm-hmm. So to the point where I couldn't look at my phone, I couldn't watch TV, just couldn't do anything for about 8-9 weeks. So yeah, I think the sickness and the nausea definitely physically wise, and then just generally weak. And this time around, I've definitely found that really weak by the end of it. So my legs kind of were tingling. I couldn't really walk properly, just because I've been lying flat for so long. So yeah, very weak. So I'm in the kind of recovery bit where I'm 2 weeks and I'm sort of walking up and down stairs. I'm like, whew. So we're still building the strength back up now. So yeah.
Yeah, because it really takes a toll on your body, doesn't it? Just that lack of exercise. I remember feeling like my muscles had just disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, to the point where I have to let people know if I'm leaving the house, because there's a chance I may need to give them a call to get me to pick me up at the end of the road. I can't make it up the hill. So yeah, we're in that kind of period at the moment. But I think, yeah, definitely sickness and nausea for me this time has been really bad. And then, yeah, just physically weak by it all, really. You sort of just can't even lift your head or move your head, or yeah, it's pretty debilitating. So yeah.
And what has that done to your mental health?
Really bad. I think first time around, so we're an IVF pregnancy, both times are IVF pregnancies. And I think first time, because we'd spent a year trying and different treatments, I think the sort of excitement of being pregnant, that first pregnancy sort of got me through it a bit better. Was this time around now, all I kept thinking is it's taking me away from my son. Like I think I've seen my son maybe 2-3 minutes a day for the last 10 weeks, to the point where sort of he'd come and sit next to me and he'd cry, and that just, it's heartbreaking. And I'm in a really bonding with my son place now is a really challenge for me. So yeah, I am in therapy for it for the first and second time, but definitely mentally I've struggled this time around. I think just dark room. Obviously, the first time around, my husband was able to kind of work and look after me, but now it's kind of looking after our son, work, and then me. So you kind of just end up on your own a lot throughout the day. Again, dark room, which doesn't do any good for anyone's mental health. And then for this time around, I just could not be on my phone. So I couldn't even kind of message friends, couldn't speak to friends, couldn't listen to even music, because Spotify now have those moving images on the songs, so I couldn't even listen. I got to classical music, I think maybe 3 or 4 times I managed to listen to some classical music, and that was it. but I couldn't do anything. So that's just when you're just watching the clock tick down and you just think, when is this going to end? And you kind of, I think this time around, because my first time around, I knew when it ended with my son, it's almost worse because you're kind of counting down the weeks until, for me, it was about 15 weeks. You're counting it down and it just seems to go on forever and ever. And you sort of get to that kind of 7-week mark and you're like, oh, I'm only halfway through this. Like, I already feel like I can't carry on. And you've got another 7 weeks to go or however long. So yeah, it's destroyed me this time.
Did termination ever cross your mind, Katie?
Yeah, so this pregnancy, definitely. I think I spent 15 days in hospital, and I think every single time I cried to the midwives, just begging them to terminate the pregnancy. And I think that's that's the thing that I'm struggling with the most. I haven't bonded with this pregnancy at all. They did want to do a few scans to check if it was twins, and I just was like, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to see the baby. So I refused those. And yeah, I pleaded for termination. And I think my husband and I had maybe 2 conversations where we seriously thought about it, looked at our options. And we've said that this is it now. We ideally wanted 3 children, but I think going through this with a little one, there's no way we can do this again. But yeah, the termination thing is, it's definitely, I'm doing better now, and I know I will bond with this baby, but all it's done is rob me from time away from my son, and it's left my relationship with my son in my head. I start feeling like it's not what it was, and he doesn't love me as much, and so there's a lot of issues there for me. So I just haven't really bonded yet with this baby. I know it will come, and that's why I'm in therapy and everything else. But yeah.
Is the therapy helping to come to terms with your HG?
I think so. I think it's. I definitely found that you don't give yourself enough credit, and I know as a peer supporter, I tell all my sufferers, you have no idea what you're going through. Like, this is one of the hardest things, and I at the end of it, when they send me their picture of their baby, you have just achieved the biggest thing, the hardest thing, but you don't ever give yourself credit for that. And I think kind of it only took going to therapy and telling someone as an outsider who doesn't really know much about HG, telling them what that is. And she just said to me, you're traumatized. She just said, it's trauma. What you've gone through is a really extreme trauma, and anyone would be feeling like this. And I think that validation has just alone helped me massively. Just think, I'm okay to feel how I feel, and it's okay that this has robbed me of any normal pregnancy. I told all my friends that I was pregnant at 4 weeks because I couldn't talk to them and I had to cancel all my plans, and I knew I would for the next 2-3 months. So I just had to say, look, my pregnancy announcement was me saying, I'm so sorry, I can't reply to a message at the moment. I'm pregnant, my HG's back. I don't know when I'm next going to be able to speak to you. Bye. And that was basically it.
Well, it makes sense that it traumatizes you, though, doesn't it? Like all the things you've just said, not being able to connect with your son, losing everything in your life that means any kind of value. Of course, that's a trauma.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, and it's just the day to day of just not getting out and about. It's things like I don't mind. I'm an oversharer. I was on Danzatron for a bit, and I didn't go for a poo for 3.5 weeks. And it's that also, but also combined with the fact that I was so sick. And it's things like the daily functioning, and you just think, how am I not? I didn't shower for 2 weeks. Yep. My hair was a massive mat, and my husband had to sit there for about 40 minutes just with the brush slowly going through it. And you just think, and at one point it's like, I just want to go for a poo. Why can't I just do a normal basic thing that I should be able to do every day? Why can't I brush my hair, brush my teeth, go for a poo, like go for a wee, even, when you're so dehydrated you can't pee, and all of those things, you just start thinking, this is just not life. It's hard. And then I think just when you're in a dark room, not seeing friends.
No. And people can't understand, can they? Because if they've not been through it, they've got no idea.
Yeah. And I, you know, a couple of the other like volunteers as a WhatsApp group, and you know, they've said, you know, how can you let other people know what it's like? And I always suggest that HG Sick film, because there was a couple of things in there, the kind of with the hormones and the terminal cancer bit. There's a few bits in there that I think actually for someone who doesn't know, who wants to support someone going through it, that's a really good starting point, because it's so hard to explain. It's not just morning sickness, and it's not just having a ginger biscuit. And you know, like, I'd still have friends message me who are just like, how are you doing? Like, have you been able to get up? Or, you know, they just don't understand how robbing it is of literally everything for that kind of period of time. So yeah, it's debilitating.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. It was definitely the hardest thing I've ever had to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, really tough. Have you got any advice, Katie, for anybody who might be at home suffering at the moment and they're really struggling, you know, thinking, how am I going to get through this? I don't think I can manage it. Have you got any advice for them?
I'd just say, just keep communicate and be honest with your communication to whoever it may be. And it may not even be, you know, I found kind of the termination part for me. I went to my friends before I went to my husband, because that, for me, I've got two best mates, and I went to them first about that. And because I didn't want to express that to him. But I think just being as honest as possible with just how you're feeling, and literally saying when you're lonely, or when, you know, I would say to my husband, like, I'm lonely, I haven't seen anyone. So he would like bring his lunch up and come and sit next to me. And to him, he may not know that, and he may be trying to give me a break or let me rest or sleep or whatever. But actually just saying, I'm lonely, I need help. Please, can you come round? And I think this time round, I don't know, you know, first time round we were on our own. We lived in the middle of nowhere. We didn't have anyone near us. We moved specifically back to my parents for this, because we knew I'd get HG again. And I just called on all our friends, and we had friends come and take my son out for walks, came to babysit, do bath and bed. And I think also I've always been a big advocate of the partner as well. I think it's so hard on them. So I think wherever possible, whether it be kind of my first pregnancy, my friends bought my husband those Gusto meals, just to help him not have to take the strain off housework, cooking, looking after work, everything else. So I think just be honest and open, and just ask for help, because we've done it for 3 months, and I've literally just messaged friends saying, can you come and do bath and bed? Can you take him for a walk, my son? Can you take them out for a play date, whatever it may be? And I think that's, yeah, ask for help and communicate, definitely.
Okay,
And
so
no, you're not alone.
brilliant.
It's completely normal how everyone's feeling, and every dark, this is one of my things I always say to myself, is actually every dark thought that crosses your head, don't think it's just you that's thought that, because I can guarantee you every single person who has had HG, however dark you think it gets, you know, we're going extreme, I can guarantee you most people have probably had those feelings and thoughts. And just talk to your doctor about it. I've had amazing doctors this time around, and they've really taken my mental health aspect really seriously. So I think communicate your mental health side with the doctors as well, and just try and get that extra support where you can.
Well, Katie, that's brilliant advice. Thank you so much for talking about your HG experience with me.
It's good. I hope it helps someone. So
It will. Thank you so much. If you or someone you love is suffering from HG, please visit www.pregnancysicknesssupport.org.uk.